Hey everybody, welcome back to Champ and Sons and our Madden 21 Houston Texans franchise as we are here in the offseason for season number 2. We fell short in an extremely disappointing loss to Kansas City in the AFC title game, so the Chiefs will be taking on the Seattle Seahawks for the Super Bowl title. For Super Bowl, was that 56 at this point, I think? Yeah. And taking a look, the Chiefs had a pretty, I would say, easier pattern to get there. They had to beat the Chargers. The Patriots were a tough one. But then we were probably the hardest one that they faced. The Seahawks, taking out Dallas in the divisional round and being able to move on all the way through is just pretty much just another opportunity for Russell Wilson to get himself another ring. Looking at MVP voting, looks like Teddy Bridgewater got the MVP, and Coach of the Year was Matt Rule. Followed up right by Patches Champion. Personally, I think we probably should have taken it. I mean, we did reach the title game. Can't say the same thing for the Panthers, but just the way it goes. Deshaun Watson, number 5 in the AFC Offensive Player of the Year. But for Defensive Player of the Year, we started stacking them up. We got Bernardrick McKinney winning the award. Zach Cunningham coming in third. And so we took off some pretty good spaces there. Offensive Player of the Year, or Offensive Rookie of the Year, Chad Pryor. He only had us about 4 games, but he played really well for us in those 4 games, and he actually managed to get the number 7 spot. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Matthew Walker, comes in at number 2. He did have a great season, racking up multiple sacks. And then Max Forbes comes in at number 4, having a couple interceptions, one of his biggest coming in the AFC title game. Rashawn Bushrod also landing in the top 10. So 3 of our defensive rookies all being in the top 10 voting for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now, looking at best QB for some reason, they Junior up there. Will great best running back we had Junior up there. Will Fuller's right at number 2 for best receiver. Looking at the offensive line, I'm not surprised we don't have anybody in the top 5, but Laramie Tunsil did come in at number 7. Best defensive lineman, of course, Bosa gets it. Then you have players like Garrett, Olivier Vernon. So be it. We still got some pretty good accolades there with Bernardrick McKinney racking up Defensive Player of the Year and all that. So did a pretty good job. Levi Wallace, our free agent pickup, coming in on the number 3 rankings for best defensive back. Followed up right by Garyon Conley, who we've been developing from there. He's been playing pretty dang decent. Both of them, Conley and Wallace, are pretty much our 2. I'm not going to say shut down corners, but they're as close to it as we have. They get plenty of interceptions. They're solid tacklers. They got good speed. So going forward, I'm excited about what our defense can do. I do think we still need to shore up some things on the defensive side, but we also need to start looking at offensive linemen. The problem that I'm seeing here is that when it comes to offensive linemen, we don't get a whole lot of really good talent in those areas, right? So as we're scrolling down, we're just looking at where we are in the draft picks that we have available, going through the top ranked players essentially. So, the 3rd round picks end up being like 65 through 96 and so forth. And you get into the 4th rounders and so on down the line. So that's just really kind of what we're looking at. This is where we potentially add depth to the team. Henry Roberts, defensive tackle, coming in at a pretty decent pick for being originally projected at 4th round. Trent Crowder, same thing. So we got some potential later on in the draft. It's whether or not they're going to kind of be available because I don't want to pick them up too early. So that's just one of those things that we have to keep an eye out on and just make sure that we basically be smart with that. Let's go ahead and advance past. We'll take a look at the final score for the Super Bowl, but our main focus is going to be getting through the offseason. We're going to get into some of the preseason, also just some basic highlights of it. Not going to go too in depth on that. And it looks like the Kansas City Chiefs, Patty Mahomes, takes home the Super Bowl championship again, Lombardi Trophy, heading to Kansas City, 35-32 over Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. That would be a hell of a Super Bowl to watch, I think. In real life, that would be a pretty dang good one to see. So taking a look at who all's retiring, Alex Smith is out. Let's see, was that Ryan Kerrigan, Richie Incognito, Dustin Colquitt, and some other guys. Clay Matthews, they have him put in his retirement papers. Andy Reid got 2 Super Bowls. He says he's done. He's had enough. That's reasonable. Bruce Arians also retiring from coaching the Bucks. I'll be dang. Did not see that one coming. I really didn't. I guess he got tired of TB12's crap and said no mas. So this is coming into the re-sign time, the last chance to really re-sign players. And a lot of these guys, Chad Pryor probably could. But one other problem I'm running into also is cap space. Plus, I wasn't really planning on signing these guys anyways. So I'm not too stressed about it. So it's one of those things. I didn't sign them in the season for a reason, so I'm not going to, force it down them right now to look at signing them. And still, it's one of those things we still have to worry about. It's going to end up being cap space. So I don't sign any of those guys. So we're going to head into free agency right now. And this is really where we got some good pickups last year, Levi Wallace and all that. But if you look, we have 0 cap room available to sign anybody. And I know we need veteran leadership on this team. We really do. So we're going to have to go through and essentially make some trades. I think if we can pick up a couple of extra draft picks, clear out some of this cap space, we might be able to get some decent help pulled in here. So it's just kind of seeing, one, who can we afford to get rid of, essentially, and how much. We really got to look at cost-benefit analysis, essentially, on this one. And that's kind of the hardest problem that I think we are going to have here. And so taking a look, Randall Cobb, he's 32. He's got quite a high price to pay for him. So, I'm going to probably end up having to trade him. And taking a look at some of our other higher price guys. But I know Randall Cobb is one I'm definitely going to have to get rid of. That's kind of a given in this situation. Deshaun Watson, I signed him to that ridiculous contract, and first year out on the new contract, he goes out and gets hurt. So, we get to the AFC title game. If we can't get to the Super Bowl in this next season, it may be time to move on from Watson. Get him out, get rid of that paycheck, let someone else deal with it, and that's kind of my thinking at this point, essentially. So clearing out some space. Laramie Tunsil was a ridiculous contract that Bill O'Brien had picked up. I think I had even signed him maybe last year or something. I don't know, but we need to get rid of that space. I know for someone like him, I'm not going to get the first round pick. So it's really becomes now just hammering down. All right, how many picks can I get? What do I have to give up to get? I'm not going to try to get a third round pick for Tunsil. So I will be seeing what I can do about just trying to get a second round. I'm not getting the first. Let's get the second. Let's unload some guys. Grenard doesn't really play that much for us, so I'm putting up 2 guys. I try to see if I can get 2 second rounders out of it. It doesn't really move all that much. That's one thing I found with Madden. If you're not getting the round pick out, one thing you can do is to get an additional one. is take a pick from the next year's draft, but like a second or third round. And so, as you saw, just that one, getting rid of Tunsil, cleared up some decent space for us. We now have some cap room to make things happen. And so, looking at what we need, I do need a solid number 2 back to back up Junior. I don't want him running the ball 30 times a game. With the way our offense works, we do best with a two-headed attack. I think everybody saw that with DJ and Junior in the backfield. So we need to probably look at getting a running back. And, ooh, Mr. Leighton Vander Esch is available. Hello, good sir. 6 foot. Ooh, I think we need to get him in. Superstar caliber linebacker. Good in coverage. Great speed. Great tackler. He's real young too. All right, he's only been in the league for 4 years, so that makes him 25, 26. If we can lock him up for the next 5 years, then he'll be a solid thing, especially with Bernardrick McKinney in the backfield. Can you imagine trying to face down McKinney and Vander Esch on our defense that we have? That'll open up so many more different things that we can do with the line, as well as with our defensive backs. So we're going to have to try to get him signed in here. It's just really seeing what is it going to take to make this thing work. Because we need to outbid, I think it was the Broncos that had him. And they're still messing with our salary cap, you bastards. You bastards, yeah. Yeah, it's the Broncos that have bid for him so far. All right, so we know we don't have enough cap space for him right now. Let's see. Am I going to end up having to go for someone else? Jakeem Green, he's 27, but see, that's the thing. Vander Esch is a superstar development. These other guys are just regular. Let's see what we got kind of at our other outside linebacker spot. Maybe we can pick someone up and transition them. But if you see, Ejiofor is a 76 overall. Merciless is a 73. I think we're going to have to come in here and make some more trades. That's the only thing we can do to free up more space in all reality. So, Merciless, $14.5 million. Need to move him out. He played great for us. I can't fault how he's played for us, but he's a 73 overall. He's declining with age, and so it's one of those things we really need to try and dump his salary as much as we can. Now, you're right, I could probably go through and just edit what his salary is, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually just have to trade him out. If I'm going to lose a player, I'm going to make it semi-realistic in that I have to pick something up at least instead of just changing his salary. All right, so that trade's not going very well. Washington didn't really want him. New Orleans, he is lit up green. So let's see what we can squeeze out of him. See, that would have shocked me if they had gone for it. I think what I should do is go for a 3rd round in this next draft and a 4th round in the next year's draft. That one's not being taken. You got to be kidding me. And honestly, at this point, Merciless is a player that's not going to see a whole lot of playing time for me. So if I got to give him up and get crap in return just to free up that cap space, man, I'll probably end up doing that in the end. Randall Cobb, he was next on my list because of his high price that we have to pay. And wide receivers, if you can find someone that's open, it's one of those things that, man, I think wide receivers can be kind of a dime a dozen here. As long as you have one main one, you can fill in the rest of them. Kind of around them. So that's why I'm not too worried about getting Randall Cobb and losing production on our offense. Trade decline. Oh, my God. That was ridiculous. It was all the way over, and they declined that trade, you bums. So yeah, that's why I try a 3rd round and then a 2nd. So, I'm going to have to continue to try to mix things up here. I know you want these guys, Saints. No, you do. Just let yourself have them. Okay, try it again. A third and a fourth. Still trade decline? You've got to be kidding me. I'm starting to think they're not going to buy into this trade at all. All right, trade accepted. Third and a fifth. Randall Cobb is the only one who would have gotten playing time out of those two, so I'm not too worried about it because I think, like I said, I can fill in beyond him. So, all right, look at all this cap room we now have available. We went from $10 million to $29.5. So, Van Der Esch, we meet again, do we, sir? All right, going ahead and up his paycheck some. Free agent, gotta win him. For a linebacker, $95.5 million. Jesus Christ. Hey, that puts us way ahead of the Broncos, though. Kind of overshot. I probably could have gotten them for a little bit cheaper. You know, coming off an AFC title game. I don't think it would have been that hard to land them. But let's just see. Advance to the next week. Come on. And we got him. Contract accepted. Leighton Vander Esch. My favorite player on the Cowboys is now going to be on my team. Houston. All right, so let's get through some of these scouting points again. Like I said, I'm just going down the line at this point. I skipped some guys I know we don't need people in positions. But for the most part, just going down the line, checking things out. And look at, see, this is what I mean when I look at offensive line. You know, these guys are projected fourth round, then fall into the sixth, seventh, if they're even projected to be drafted in the end. Yeah, that's one of those things that it gets annoying to see. I mean, how many times are there that many busts in a single round or in a single position? You know, really. All right, taking a look at center, and the reason why I'm looking at center, I know we have a backup center right now, but linemen, you can shift them from space to space. It's not something where, oh, this guy's a right guard. If you move him over to left guard, he goes from like a 80 overall to a 50 overall. No, they're all pretty fluid in those five positions. So I'm not going to stress about that too much. All right, just coming down. Cornerbacks, free safeties, strong safeties. Yeah, I'm always a stickler that I think to have some of the best, one of the best things you can do for your team is build up the defense. All right, if you can end up holding teams to 20 points, then you're talking all it takes is 3 scores to get beyond that. So your offense doesn't have to always be a focus. We have a quarterback, we have a running back, we have a receiver. We're pretty solid there. Defense, we're starting to really get that hammered down to try to become that lockdown type of defense. All right, so Ronald Jones, he's 25. He's an 82 overall. He's lower than Junior. So I think he's going to be a pretty solid pickup. He's a young guy, 2 young running backs coming in. Signing them for free agency. If you look, he's an 82, 81, 82 overall. So he's right behind Junior, but well above Higdon. So I think we're pretty good in that area if we can get him to sign. Now, looking at left tackles, I did trade away Tunsil, and this is the second week of free agency, so I don't think I'm going to have to pay all that much for these guys. So just kind of looking at who's available right now. I don't like the ages of them, but at the same time, I know it's not going to be a long-term investment. Most of these guys that I would pick up are probably going to be, year to year, more or less. So Russell Okung, 33 years old, multiple years in the league. We're the only one to offer to him, so I'm not too afraid about that. Just going to advance this next week, see what we got. Who signed? All right. Ooh, 5th-year option on Titus Howard. Yes, a right tackle. Yeah, I don't want to have to deal with his stuff right now. So, yes, he has played decent for us. He's got injured more than what I like. I had to yawn there. Got injured more than what I like, but still overall good talent on the line. So, I'm going to exercise his 5th-year option. All right, so we did get our guys to sign. We got you, Ronald Jones Jr. We got you, Russell Okung. And, man, I hate this part of the scouting. It's really, I already know what I'm really going to be looking for. On the defensive line. Yeah, defensive tackle is probably the only spot that really needs much. Charles Omenihu. Jesus Christ, sorry. Charles Omenihu and Matthew Walker on the line. Rashawn Bushrod. Yeah, man, that's a beastly line. I don't know what else we could need on it, but that's one of those things. Hey, depth is depth, right? So, Russell Okung accepted our offer. Yes, he did. All right. So back to scouting. We're almost there. I'm not going to go for any other players in free agency. There's no point of it. Don't have any money. Anybody that's there, it's not really worth having. If I really need, I can pick them up during the season when someone gets injured. So, just taking a look at what quarterbacks are there. I'm not trying to replace anybody. I did not re-sign Chad Pryor to the team, so I'm fairly certain I'm probably going to need a quarterback coming into the regular season, or really the preseason too. But I'm just taking a look to see what's available. Maybe something might drop as far as quarterbacks go, but you never really know. So, all right, that should do it for the free agency. And here we come. Yeah, these are all the offers that we did. We forked over a lot of dough, my signings. Well, Vander Esch is really the only one we forked over a good chunk of dough on. Ronald Jones Jr., I think he'll end up paying off in the end as long as we can get wins and touchdowns from him. Okung, well, I just need him for about 2 years. Maybe 2 years, maybe 3 at the most, until we get a class coming through. So now we are going to take a look at the draft. It is beginning. The Broncos have the number 1 pick, and they're going to go with Justin Bryan, cornerback. Cardinals, Randy Stoudemire. Who's that? The Bucks. Alex Ford, Cam Meekins for the Jets. 49ers. They get a free safety grant. Who's that? The Lions take Justin Cook. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Who all is left? I do need a tight end. That is something I do need. I'm not going to lie. Indy is on the clock right now. Their pick at number 7. I'm really just kind of checking what all I still have available. Seen some of those guys go. They were on my board, but they were not ones that I had to have, right? So just kind of how it goes. All right, let me finish getting through here. Just trying to track this out. This is going to be going into year 3 where we need to make a splash. And the Colts are going to get Chris Hodge, defensive tackle from Michigan. I really wanted that guy. Chris Alexander, Miami. Tennessee, Ty McClellan, cornerback. Cincy gets Ben Brooks, tight end, LSU. Dang it, I could have gone with that guy as well. The Saints have Keys from A&M. Tyreek Allen, defensive tackle, NC State. That's a good one. I can't fault you for that. LA. Washington gets Mitch Polk, left guard from Oregon. All right, Our first round pick. Let's do this. Where do we need to go in the first round? I ask you. Because I'm not going to lie, I truly don't know. I really don't. I need to shore up some stuff on the offensive line, obviously. Ooh, Jesse Potts is available at left tackle. Maybe someone we can develop behind Okun for a year. That's definitely starting to tickle my fancy, to interest me, if you will. Jesse Potts, first in the vertical jump. We reached. We went for him. He was, they can say he reached, and he's not hidden development trait or whatever. I think that was a pretty solid pickup. I like Potts on that one. So I think we're good to go with getting another left tackle for us. That way we don't have to worry about Okun and all that staying on for too long. All right, let's get through the first round. Normally I'll end up doing it like this, just seeing the first round picks. Once we get through that, I'm generally going to kind of just move on and start fast forwarding to all my picks in the draft instead of everybody's. I'll just zoom over to my next pick. All right, coming in right after the Vikings. Hurry up, hurry up. Here we go. We are on the bird. So we got a left tackle with our first round pick. Ooh, punter, wild carding it, as we say. Taking a look on the defensive side of the ball, there's not all that much. There's some. Sidney Ricard, originally projected to be a third round or second round pick. But it looks like we could get him, and I think he would probably be a pretty decent pickup. His combine grade was a 7.2. Not sure what that means, but it's higher than the others, so that's got to be better. Still not trusting it. Man, Sidney Ricard. Second and 40, first and 3. Okay. Yeah, no, he's who we're going with. Good pick. He's not a hidden development trait, but that's fine. He was a good pick for us, helping to solidify some depth on the defensive side of the ball. I like it. I like it. I like it. So now all the way to round number 2. We did have the first pick in the second round, so kind of zoomed on pretty quick. Man, our board is kind of shredded just because so many guys turned out to be not as talented as they were projected. Let's face it. How often do you see that much red when you're only around the second round group of guys, right? Who's that? Kimani Holmes? He would probably be a pretty good one. But I don't need anybody in that end position. That's the only thing. Once again, I love to shore up my defense, but I just don't need someone in that end position. But he may just be too much to pass up also. I'm going to have to severely think about that one. Kimani Holmes, Clemson speed rusher. His combine grade 6.7, second in the 40, second in the cone. Yeah, we went with it. And he's actually a hidden development. He is a 72 overall. Oh, man, I'm going to have to find a way to try to work him in just to see what we can get out of him. How am I going to do that? I really don't know. That's the struggle, as I have no idea. We'll figure it out, though. We will figure it out. All right, second pick of the second round. Number 30. So what is that? Like pick number 62 overall, I guess. Don't want to have to do too much math in my dome. Henry Roberts, defensive tackle. He was originally projected to be a fourth round. His combine grade was good, but where he ranked as far as tackles go just wasn't too impressive. Khalid Blaylock. that did pretty decent, but I already got someone on the. Oh, man. Yep, we're going Henry Roberts. Bringing him in. Good pick. 73 overall. Did not expect to get that in the bottom of the second round. So now advancing on to the third round, you got to remember we made lots of trades throughout our season, so we'll have multiple picks coming in through most of these rounds. All right, so the 11th pick in the third round. Where are we going to take this one? Your guess is as good as mine. I really don't know. I've gone defensive line. Basically, front seven I've hit up pretty hard. Man, strong safety. I don't want to waste a higher up draft pick on a strong safety. If I'm going to do that, I might just wait till later. But man, this is tough. Okay, let's focus. Zero in. Trent Crowder, first in the 40, so he runs a 4.39 40. I do pick him up. If anything, I can use him as a returner for returning kicks. So we have that going for us, especially with his speed. So now here we come to the end of the third round, number 30th. Well, not the very end, obviously, but we're the 30th pick in the third round, our second time through. Man. Like I said, it's been shredded completely. There wasn't a whole lot of great talent to begin with, it seemed like, in this draft class. So that's what's made this kind of difficult to go through and to pick. Looking at QB. Dude, Cody Columbus? What kind of name is that? Wide receiver, tight end. We only have one tight end left that we've scouted, at least. Daniel Felix. Tough call. Martin Newberry. He's another right end. I don't need another one. Okay. Hold on. The clock's not ticking down. I don't know if y'all noticed this. I did pause the board, or essentially hit pause on the draft. I hate the minute and a half. Let's face it. In real life, you have like 30 minutes to make a pick, so that's how I did. Khalid Blaylock seemed like the best available. Once again, more depth. What can I say? Eventually, and maybe I might have to let them possibly try to take over a position or something. We'll see, right? May have to move some of them up. I got O'Menihue that's young. Walker's real young. So, there's not a whole lot of space for them to move up, but it's good to have depth. Let's just say that. Good to have depth. And speaking of depth, here we come. Round 5. 30th pick in round 5. Oof is all I can say to this. Ooh, punters. I need a punter. Justin Atkinson. Wild carding it. 5th round pick. Punter. 69 overall. They said I actually had a good pick. Can't imagine picking a punter in the 5th round. I mean, other than Dixon that Seattle did. Yeah, other than that. Shouldn't ever really get great pick for getting a punter. I do look for a backup quarterback, not going to lie. But none of these draft grades or combine grades seem all that great. And all these people were projected to be undrafted. And I really didn't want to be humiliated in the 6th round by drafting one of these guys. And they'd be like a 30 overall. So. And my draft board is pretty much shredded, even more so here in the 6th round. I do get a receiver just because it's good to have talent on the receiving side. Plenty of times we can always put them on a practice squad, let them develop and all that. So, 7th round pick, looking to just trade that away. I normally end up generally trading my 6th and 7th round pick. This time I decided to get the wide receiver. But I do trade away my 7th round pick to pick up a 6th rounder in the next draft. So, it tends to work out generally. I found if you start at about the 5th to 4th round, trading your picks, you can always pick up one for the round before it and the next draft. So if you really don't need anybody, At least you got more opportunities next time. So let's take a look at the draft classes as we have completed this year's draft. And we don't have a whole lot of guys on up there. Brian, Hodge, Stoudemire, they all kind of made the top rankings. Our guys weren't high like 78, but we were consistent as far as we're talking. 73 with Sidney Ricard, 73 with Roberts. So yeah, we've got our guys there. They're right up there and ready to make an impact, but we just didn't have anybody that was that number 80, basically 78 to 80 overall, superstar, hidden development, all that type of stuff in this go around. All right, so let's take a quick look at our roster. I just need to see what we have at the tackles because I am going to have to shift some people around. So Potts, he is obviously going to be the backup 72 versus a 74. So Charlie Heck, he did a lot of backup at the guard position for us last year. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to move him over to guard this year. And right guard seems a pretty good fit for him anyways. He's not going to have a whole lot of drop-off. This way, Sharping's got his backup. Nick Martin's got his. Fulton's got his backup. Titus Howard. Everybody's got a backup. Now we have Matthew Walker on left right end. Ross Blaylock, Kamani Holmes, Khalid Blaylock. We've got a lot of depth at the right end. I'm not going to lie. There's a big drop-off between Blacklock and Holmes, so I don't know if I'm going to end up trading Blacklock. I'm going to definitely keep Holmes on board. I have to find some ways to get him in the game because he is the hidden development. We'll see how that kind of goes, though. All right, so that is going to be it for the draft. Now we are going ahead and take a look at some of our bigger plays from the preseason. This isn't going to be too in-depth or anything like that. It's just not how I roll with the preseason. That's just the way it goes. So our first preseason matchup will be against the Atlanta Falcons. All right, and we are going to be playing them in Atlanta. That's how it normally goes. Away, play 2 games away, 2 games home. It's just the way it is. All right, so we do have 58 guys out of our 75-person roster. Y'all know me. I don't ever show y'all the weekly training or anything like that. So we are going to go ahead and jump into this game against Atlanta here in just 1 second. And our preseason is underway. So the first play from scrimmage we will have in our preseason is on defense against Matt Ryan. And he's going to aim deep down the field. And we're going to get the interception. Justin Reed gets the big pick, and he's hunting down the right sideline as he will be brought down at the 46. That is how you want to start a season. First play on defense is an interception. Now the ending to the first drive. Deshaun Watson up the middle for the touchdown. We have taken the lead in this one. That is the best way I can imagine to start a season. Now I think they're doing bobsled stuff. Oh dear, bad guys in a bobsled. Not a good combination. Oh man, what a great way to start out. I'm going to say start out this season because it is preseason. That's just how it goes. Kicking the extra point. Amy Fairbairn coming in, not shanking that one like we were prone to do last year. As much as I want to blame the kicker, I can't. Got to blame the man with the sticks. That's me. All right, so we're going to jump forward to next quarter because second quarter is when the backups will come in. So that's what I really wanted to see. I want to show off is what our backups are doing. Chad Pryor, I did sign him off camera from free agency, so that way we do have a backup. Ronald Jones, another free agent pickup. heading up the gut for a big 14-yard gain. I knew we had potential to do big things with that young man right there. And he is showing it off. All right, so on the very next play, from the shotgun, Pryor's going to send McGee in motion. Pryor's got the snap, and he finds McGee over the middle, who gets up the field. Doesn't really break a tackle, but he does get the first down, reaching out for that first down marker, and he makes it. So now we have a whole new set. Pryor's going to be alone in the backfield this time with 5 wides. Coming out, and Pryor takes the snap. He's reading the field, and he's going to try to run it, and he gets out in some space, but he's going to fumble the ball. Chad Pryor, oh my goodness, fumbling the ball on that one. As we were just going ahead and take it in the rest of the way to the ending of the game. Not the greatest start for the offense, backups-wise. Chad Pryor fumbling. That's just kind of how it goes. All right. Offensive line mentorship. Yeah. I hate that. It's standard. We'll see it at the beginning of every season. Nick Martin, let's help this one guy out with run blocking. Power run or finesse run? We'll go finesse. Okay. Jesse Potts, my backup, getting some assistance from Nick Martin. All right. So with that having been done, let's get into this second game against New Orleans rather quickly here. And we are going to jump into the start of the second half where our backups are in the game, and we are going to be on defense this time with a massive 24-7 lead. And that pass is going to get out there, but it's going to be an easy tackle as he goes down, making the reception. And our defense still looking to get some pressure, try to get some of these backup guys some spots, and tackle some hits, get them some development points at least. And they're going to dump their second pass off out to the right side into the flat. Vernon Hargraves, who's been kind of overtaken on our defensive back depth chart, puts a big hit on the man, knocking him out of bounds, bringing up a 3rd and inches. Now they're going to go 5 wide, and they release it quickly to their receiver. He's going to make the catch and go down at the 47 for a brand new set for him. Hargraves with the tackle. And so after a turnover, we will take over possession of the ball as we will hand it off to Ronald Jones II right up the gut. He makes some shifty moves. He gets some guys whiffing, and he'll finally be brought down after a gain of 8. He has been, so far this preseason, a good, solid pickup, and I'm excited to be able to play with him in the regular season. On the very next play, we hit our man on the slant pattern, Chad Pryor, coming through, putting the dime on where it had to be. So now a little later in the drive with a 2nd and 6 from the 9-yard line. Pryor's got 5 wide. He's going to find our tight end, who's out, Warling, I believe, over the middle for the touchdown. Houston. Warling. There we go. Yeah. All right. So after that score, we're going to go ahead and just simulate out the rest of this game. Get through it rather quickly. We dominated them. So here we are in our 3rd preseason game. I told you we were cutting through it quick, and that's what we're doing. In the 4th quarter, trailing by 9, we taking on the Patriots in this 3rd preseason in Houston. And what is that guy's name? Stedmanson or whatever for New England. He's still their backup on this game. That's got to hurt. Even years down the road, you're still a backup in a video game. And on their very next play, New England will score the touchdown, spending the lead. And so we are going to have an opportunity to respond. We're here with a 3rd and 2 from the 28-yard line. Pryor's going to dump the pass off. We're going to get that one completed. That's going to be for a good about 5-6-yard gain. And now a little bit later in our drive, heading down the field, 4th and 3, tossing it up, and it's going to be knocked down. Trailing by 15, needing that one, not getting that one. So be it. All right, so time to cut some guys. And I can tell you this, when it comes to cutting players, one of the first things I look at is how much am I going to get back in free cap space? If it's not a whole lot, a lot of times I'll try to just move them over to the practice squad if I can. Um, and see, him I'm done because he's got semi-decent speed, nothing spectacular, but I'm, I just need to try to develop some people still. All right. Dwayne Frazier, wide receiver, 65 overall. Yeah, you get on the practice squad. Hunter Carvey, you get on the practice squad as well. That's one good thing about not having that big of a roster is I don't have to cut down that many guys. But I do still need to cut at least one person. And I think this is just going to make total sense. Buddy Howell, he's our fourth running back. Yeah, it's only 320 in cap space. Some of the other guys I think are a little bit more. Peter Kalimbai is more, if I'm not mistaken. But Buddy Howell's our fourth running back. He's not ever going to see playing time except for that one game where we have 5 running backs get hurt, in 5 consecutive plays. So we do end up cutting him. He is the last casualty of the preseason for us. So that does take us into our 4th and final preseason game, as we are going to be playing the Chicago Bears. And I completely just skipped that one, to be honest with you. No point in showing it. So we're taking a look at our regular season that we do have coming up, as we are going to be facing off against the NFC East and the AFC West in this season. And that reminds me, go ahead and hit subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel already for all of the Champ and Sons content. Whether it be Madden, FIFA, Rocket League, we got it all for you here at Champ and Sons. And go ahead and hit the little thumbs up button if you did like today's video, as it really does help out the channel, and we do greatly appreciate it as well. So, preseason game number 4, we did win 20-17. But that is going to lead us to week 1 against New England, which I will see y'all in the next episode for. So as always, everybody, stay safe, and, well, you know how it goes. Later, y'all.